You know, when I sat back and watched on my television via my Xbox 360, courtesy of YouTube, and I sat back and I listened to what Jeff Siegel, the Schleg Daddy, had to say when he talked about the fact that John Cena is indeed the heel right now, and that he doesn't have to turn heel because he is. And then when I hear him talk about how John Cena is that obstacle that makes him a heel, and I hear him bringing out all these points, and I say to myself, Jeff's right. Jeff has a huge point here. You see, as much as we complain and moan and whine and cry at the fact that John Cena constantly is getting over and over and over people that he should not be going over, and that these people should be the one that John Cena puts over, and as much as we whine and complain and moan, and just cry at the fact that John Cena is always going to be on top no matter what. I do agree with what Jeff said. And it's kind of, and right now, we're in a society, in a wrestling society as fans, to where, even if to where the only reason, and this is the one thing that even fans like myself can't comprehend when it comes to other fans, it's something that fans like Jeff Siegel cannot comprehend when it comes to other fans. But it's basically the fact that the only reason we wanted John Cena to turn heel, the only reason we want him to turn heel, is so that we have a reason to cheer him. That's right. That's the only reason, and it's weird. It's something that nobody can comprehend. It's like you want to boo the one, it's like the only reason you want the one guy that's being treated as the top babyface in the company and will be for years to come. The only reason you want him to go heel is so you have a reason to cheer him. So even if he does turn heel and he starts hitting someone like a Daniel Bryan with a chair, or he hits somebody like one of the Usos with a chair, or beats on somebody like a Michael Cole or Jerry Lawler, well, not Jerry Lawler, but you get my idea. Or he takes someone like an Adam Rose or a Sam Zayn, he just beats the living crap out of them. What would be weird to comprehend is if he started doing that to guys that will likely be baby faces, all of a sudden you'd start hearing cheers. And why? And why? Is this the only reason you're going to cheer him? Is if he becomes a heel? Or maybe it's the fact that you want John Cena to have that heelish tendency. Like in fact, I know this, and I know this is a crazy comparison because there'll be nobody like him ever. You want him to be like a Stone Cold Steve Austin or a Rock. A guy that's a babyface, but does heelish things that fans love. So you take a look at someone like John Cena, and the only reason you want him to be heel is so he could be that heel that you could cheer, but yet be that heelish babyface that you want. You see, when I hear people complaining and saying that John Cena needs to turn heel, he needs to be the bad guy, he needs to go bad, he needs to go heel. When I look at this, I look at it like John Cena, what Jeff Siegel said in his video, doesn't need that because he already is, because of the fact that instead of having multiple obstacles to go through, like he should be going through with Bray Wyatt right now. Instead, he is the damn obstacle. And yet, when I hear people say he needs to turn heel, all I really see sometimes, or hear sometimes, when I now think about it, is you just want him to become a heelish babyface. A guy that, uses the ropes. A guy that's a good guy, a fan favorite, a babyface, but goes into a match and basically does whatever it takes to win, becomes, uses heelish tendencies. I mean, when you took a look at Randy Orton, when he was a babyface, he used heelish tactics, and guess what? People cheered him. People cheered him because he was a heelish babyface. Like John Cena, he was constantly shoved down on throats. But people still got behind him because he was a heelish babyface. And I think that's why when people say we want John Cena to turn heel, in my opinion, and when one thinks about it, they're saying we want a heelish John Cena as a babyface. We want John Cena to be the top babyface still. We don't, okay, let me correct myself. There. Basically it's them saying we want John Cena, basically it's them saying, hey, we don't mind John Cena being a babyface still, but we want a John Cena that's a heelish babyface. That's a guy who does the right things, but in matches will take shortcuts sometimes. Or in matches will do things unlike a goody-good two-shoe babyface that some people see him as right now. And I think that's what fans want. I think in a sense that's what fans want from John Cena when they say they want him to turn heel. So that he's the kind of heelish babyface that you could cheer. That he's still the good guy, he still goes out and does the Make-A-Wishes, he still supports Susan J. Corman, if you will, and all that. But when he gets in that ring, he starts to become more of that heelish guy again. Basically, in a sense, you want John Cena to bring back some of that Doctor of Thugonomics attitude into his character. Because I noticed a few times when he would go back to being the Doctor of Thugonomics. And he did this twice in his feud with The Rock, his rivalry with The Rock. That people popped. Everybody popped. Male, women, kids, and adult males popped. And I think that's what I think that's what they really want. They want that heelish babyface of John Cena that we saw at the end of 2003 and into 2004 and somewhat throughout 2005 and a bit of 2006. They want that John Cena. They wanted John Cena that says, hey, my finisher is not the attitude adjustment or the yay, it's the FU. And and my submission finisher is not the STF, it's the STFU. That's what they want. And, I look at this and I don't blame fans for wanting that. So when I hear people say, hey, we want John Cena to turn heel, I think all they're saying is we want that heelish John Cena that was a babyface at one time. That was a babyface, but he did things from a heel, but sometimes he would go in a heelish direction. Just like an Austin, just like sometimes a Rock. Someone that would bend the rules if he needed to, but would do it sometimes against the legitimate heel, the legitimate bad guy. And still be the babyface, the good guy that goes out and does all of the charity work. Goes out and does all of this and all of that. But be that guy when he's on camera. He's in that ring. He's not afraid to say the truth. He's not afraid to bend the rules if he has to, but still be the babyface. And I know I sound like a broken record, but this is a fact. I look at it like that's what fans want. When they say, hey, we want John Cena to turn heel. We want a heelish John Cena. What they're saying is, hey, we want the heelish babyface John Cena that was once known as the Doctor of Thugonomics. We want him back. We want him back. We want the guy that would go out and rap on, and basically do like some kind of a rap on his opponents and sometimes have to be bleeped out for some of the words he would use. I think that's what they want. They want the guy that was once leader of not the C Nation, but the Chain Gang. they want. And that's what I see. That's what I see and hear. That's what I see and think of when I read and hear people say, "Hey, John Cena needs to be healed." It's not the fact that they want him to be the full-fledged heel bad guy, because like Jeff Shiegel said, right now the way WWE's presenting him, he already is, even though he's a babyface. What you're asking for is the Doctor of Thugonomics heelish babyface John Cena that we saw back in 2005, 2004, and 2003, and even somewhat 2006. That's the John Cena you want. And you know what? I don't blame you. But again, like a lot of people say, but again, like everybody says, John Cena is the obstacle when it comes to a certain, for certain opponents that he may have rivalries with or feud with and all that. It's the fact that the only way for this to occur is for WWE to get over an obstacle they're currently having trouble getting through right now. And that's the PG obstacle. I mean, yeah, they're doing what they can to get over it and kind of make themselves a little bit more realistic, more edgy than they have been in a few years, and pretty much going from a PG to a PG-13 rated product. But still, it's an obstacle they have to slowly overcome, and they're having trouble doing so because they got all these sponsors, they got all these partnerships, all these associations in and out of the ring, or mostly out of the ring, like with Be a Star, Susan J. Coleman, if you will. The WrestleMania reading program, things like that. They got all these things happening, the Make-A-Wish, all these things happening. And these are obstacles, and even though a lot of this is good things to do, good things for them to take part in and be a part of, these are obstacles that they have to slowly try to get around to try to give you what you want. And that is the reason, as much as a lot of you hate to admit it, it's the reason why you don't get what you want with John Cena. It's because of the fact that if you do this, that if you want this to be, because of the fact that if you do it, in WWE's eyes, they're going to lose everything. They're going to lose the associations with all these organizations and charities and all that. They're going to lose their trust. And what WWE is doing, whether we want to admit it or not, whether we like it or not, is they're trying to weave the way through this obstacle to try to give you what you want. I mean, the way I look at it, they're kind of taking their chances at times right now with Demon Kane, Daniel Bryan Authority versus Daniel Bryan Authority versus Shield. I think they're taking their time with that. I mean, not time with that, but I think they're taking their chances with that. Especially with what we saw at Extreme Rules, especially what we saw at Extreme Rules, with the ending of the Daniel Bryan Kane match, they kind of borderline there. But then you take a look at Bray Wyatt and Cena, it's the same thing. They're kind of borderline right there. They're kind of on the edge a little bit. And I'm surprised, honestly, that no parental groups have come out and said, "Hey, why are you using children to do this? In this storyline, you're making these children act like, oh, we're part of a cult now and everything." It's basically, things like this that WWE's on the borderline of doing. And they're doing this because they're finding ways to weave across and through this obstacle that I mentioned to try to give you what you want. I mean, you want realist. You want somewhat of a realist show. You want something that, kind of a real life like show. You want something that's edgy, something that you thought you'd never see from WWE again, and yet you're getting it. And yet you're getting it, but still, WWE has to be careful about where they're going. You know what I'm saying? Because as they weave across all these obstacles, they got to be careful about what they come in contact with. They do. And that is why as much as you want John Cena to be the guy that suddenly grabs a chair and whacks Daniel Bryan in the head and says, I'm the number one guy around here. I'm the number one guy. I'm part of the authority. As much as you want that, it's not going to happen. And as much as you want the, hey, yo, I'm Dr. Thugonomics, John Cena. As much, as much as you want the, hey, yo, I'm the Dr. Thugonomics, John Cena. You could chew on these nuts. As much as you want that, it's basically right now they're going through an obstacle to try to make things like that happen. And again, I'm surprised that they're on that borderline right now where they are. I'm surprised nothing has come out against them. And when you take a look at John Cena, Bray Wyatt, you say to yourself, well, what's the reason for this feud to continue? And as much as you would like to see Bray Wyatt dominate the rest of the feud and probably eventually lead to Cena turning heel, the fact is this. The way I look at this, and I'm sure there's a lot of outside organizations that are questioning this storyline and find it a little bit controversial. I know that's kind of crazy to say, but it's the truth. I'm sure WWE may have assured them, oh, don't worry, John Cena will be triumphant in the end, and anybody under the spell of Bray Wyatt or whatever supernatural being is involved in this, because pretty much I think that's what we're heading towards. That I'm pretty sure they're showing them, oh, John Cena will succeed. He'll free the kids. He'll free Hopper and Rowan. Even free Bray from whatever's controlling him. I'm pretty sure some of the organizations got assured by that. Parental organizations, that is. Because believe me, I know right now, there are some that find this controversial and they want to come out and say something, but they can't. Because I'm pretty sure WWE may have assured them, oh, don't worry, John Cena will come out on top. Just saying. But, again, as much as you want John Cena to be that heel, or be that heelish babyface that he once was, right now, as much as they're trying to give you a little bit of here and there, like little bits and pieces, right now, as many people say, John Cena being the obstacle for people like Bray Wyatt, people like Kane, people like maybe eventually down the road, Alexander Rusev. As much as people say John Cena's the obstacle, and that's why people look at him as being already being a heel, and not just a babyface that's shoved down our throats every week. That is exactly what WWE is going through, an obstacle, which is why we don't get the heel turn that you asked for. And again, going back to what I said earlier, and even Jeff Shiegel said it, and even if we get the John Cena heel turn, what's the point? Pretty much all you're asking for is a reason to cheer him. Why don't you just, the way I look at it, why don't you just come out and say, hey, we want that heelish babyface John Cena that was once the Doctor of Thugonomics. The guy that once rapped and had to be bleeped out with some of the things he said. The guy that was basically about ruthless aggression. The guy that was the leader of the chain gang. It's like, why don't you just say that's the John Cena you want? That's the heel John Cena you want, the heelish babyface you want. If you make that perfectly clear, I think everybody will understand what you mean by, hey, we want John Cena to turn heel, he needs to turn heel. Basically, you're saying John Cena needs to go back to being Dr. of Thugonomics John Cena. End of story. But again, as much as you want this and that from John Cena, to turn heel or be the heelish babyface again, as much as you want this and that from WWE, you got to realize there's one thing sticking in the way. The association with all these organizations. And these are great organizations and charities, don't get me wrong, and I think you'll agree with them. I think you'll agree with that these are good organizations and charities. But the point is, these are the things that are stuck in the way. And as long as these things are stuck in the way, you're going to be stuck with a John Cena that you don't like. that, yeah, once in a while you may get a bone thrown your way, and you may get a bit of more ruthless and more ruthless aggression version of Cena at times. But that's about it. That's about it. You're not going to get any more than that. You know, and until WWE's association with all these organizations comes to an end, or until they can find a way to really balance things out and get through that obstacle that is these organizations, the heel John Cena that you want, the Doctor of Thongonomics that you want, the heelish babyface John Cena you want, will not be making an appearance anytime soon. Unless necessary, unless they can find, like say, a balance and find a way to get through this obstacle. And that obstacle is all this associating with other organizations in and outside the ring. So that's just my reply, my response to Jeff's video, and my take on why John Cena doesn't need to turn heel because he is the heel. So let me know what you guys think down below. Comment if you like. I'll talk to you all later.